As I'm recording this video right now, my Airbnb is suspended. Let's talk about it. In the recent years, there have been so many Airbnb business moguls that have come online and told us how many millions they've made from this business.
Back, a new investment opportunity started popping up everywhere on YouTube.
Learn about Airbnb arbitrage.
Airbnb arbitrage.
Airbnb arbitrage.
Right. Airbnb arbitrage is super.
Made $3 million in just 6 months as a 20-year-old female entrepreneur.
Our Airbnb business has hosted thousands of guests over the past couple of years.
The next bit would be now some of the benefits that you can get doing Airbnb.
Yeah, I think I made my rental back in about 8 days or something.
Your rental for the place?
My rent for that apartment.
Inspiring me and you to get into the business. But I feel like the downside of Airbnb is not talked about enough. My name is Jivenchi K. I've been in Airbnb business, or I've been in the Airbnb business for just under 2 years, and I have a story to tell. Let's start from the beginning. Just after COVID, I got this 2-bedroom apartment. It was in shambles, but I had agreed with the owner to renovate it at their cost, ready for me to move in. I can't begin to say how I enjoyed furnishing this space. I poured my entire heart to this space. It's my first property that I've stayed alone without anybody in my entire life, and so you can only imagine the excitement on furnishing and just making it my little heaven. And I feel like over time I eventually made it like that, but soon after that I realized I can't really stay in this property in long term, and then there's hence why, or the decision coming to me turning it into an Airbnb. So property is one of the industries that I've always wanted, and I believe I'll tap in and really flourish. I love hotels, I love spaces, I love accommodation. Can it be a boutique hotel? And I've just always had this vision of owning a hotel for quite a long time, right? So Airbnb, I feel like it's the best avenue for me to start, and hence why I started. So the reason why I turned this apartment, it's in a building with other units at the bottom. This is on the top floor. The reason why I turned it to an Airbnb, because one is I have 2 dogs and I wanted to move into another place where I can be with my dogs, because this is an apartment, so you can have your dogs here. And then the other thing is, just after some time I just first I found something better, but also it just didn't feel like I wanted to be in a space because there are so many other units underneath. So I just didn't want to be in this space. But mostly it's just like it just made the perfect sense because it was giving me a time to rent it out while I travel. So I put it on Airbnb while I was away to kind of get the momentum and see how things goes. Then eventually when I was like, it's kind of picking up, then I was like, okay, maybe I can have another place and put this as an investment property full time. By the way, this is Airbnb arbitrage. Listen, I'm renting this place and I came into an agreement with the owner to run it as an Airbnb, but it has a name for it. Oh my god, all these jargons. Airbnb arbitrage. How to pronounce arbitrage? Arbitrage. So yeah, Airbnb arbitrage. Yeah, Airbnb arbitrage. Never mind. At the beginning of the video, I had mentioned that my Airbnb is suspended. So I have 2 Airbnbs. I have this one and the other one that I'm currently renovating. If you checked on my previous vlog, I showed a bit of it. It's a studio still in the same building. I mean, I have a feeling, that's the plan, one day to acquire this entire building with my Airbnbs, and maybe we're gonna have a hotel, maybe, something. It starts from somewhere, yeah. But anyway, so the reason why it was suspended, it was just a build-up of events, things like cleaning, poor communication with guests, and just like many other things. So I don't want this to happen to you as well. I've gone through this, so you don't have to go through it as well. So I'm gonna tell you now some of the challenges and things that I think if you're starting an Airbnb, you really should think of, look into, and just be mindful of them, because I feel like there's so much people talking about the good things, the positives. I feel like the negative or just the end are not spoken about enough. So my name is Juvenchi K. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And without further ado, one of the challenges or things I noticed early on my Airbnb business is that just because you charge less doesn't mean people's expectations are low of your space. So when I started, because this is not a very modern property, it's been here for a while. The current owner bought it from a previous owner that I think ran it as a business, as a guest house by the time. And so I've done renovations in my space, but as you can see, it's not the modern, Airbnb. Like, it's not the modern, the kitchen doesn't have like marbles, and the tiles are, it's wooden floor. So it's still very like an old style apartment. So when I was starting, I put the price low because I wanted it to get people, right? Because I feel like it's not as competitive with my counterparts in the same bracket, like a 2-bedroom with other 2-bedroom. I think mine is a little bit less than, because it's not modern. But it's crazy that even people would pay less, but they still would have so much to say about the space in terms of how not modern it is. And they'll put it on reviews as well, putting my ratings down. But in my head I'm thinking, or rather I thought, but it's cheap. So it's like, it's cheap. Why are you expecting so much? Like, why are you expecting marble countertops, like, for that amount that you paid? But that was all in my head. Clients don't think like that, and it was like, huh? I was like, oh, yeah. I was bamboozled. The second thing I would say is, don't get too comfortable with your cleaner. Your cleaner, or if you're cleaning yourself, it's cleanliness is one of the biggest factors that can really affect your ratings. Like small things, your fridge, is it cleaned out of every client? Your bin, your microwave, things like that are very important. I think the mistake I had with my cleaner, we are in a better space now, but the mistake that I had is that at the beginning we didn't have a checklist system. I really advise you to have a checklist system where after every time they clean, they send a picture. This is the kitchen, this is the thing, this is the microwave, because things like that can really, or for me, my perspective have affected that, because I just had trust, and then I got comfortable with my cleaner after a bit. So I never asked them to send me pictures. I never asked them to send me pictures after every cleaning before the guest arrives, to see if everything is in order, the towels are in order. I'll just ask, is it cleaned? But you really need to ask all questions, like, is the toiletries refilled? Like, are there extra toilet papers and all that? So I would say don't get too comfortable, or just don't get comfortable with your cleaner, to be honest. Have a system that helps you to check, especially if you're not currently, or you don't stay in the Airbnb or the proximity by the time, as I usually travel quite a lot. So it's, yeah. Another challenge I would say is that if you're looking at starting an Airbnb, I'll say this is the right time. However, there's so much competition. Like, from people that started maybe when Airbnb was still picking up, I think they had an advantage of just, having a bed. But now it's so competitive. So when you're starting a new business right now, you need to invest in your interior designing. Like, your place needs to be mwah. Like, if it's not mwah, you won't get the bookings, because there's so many Airbnbs, the competition is so high. So you need to have that X factor. Like, Airbnb is not as simple as it was, so that's something that I noticed. My Airbnb is nice, it's mwah, but it's not mwah. So I feel like you really, because of the competition, you really need that X factor. So when you get into the business right now, just know the competition is high, and you need to come full force. Another thing is that they say Airbnb is passive income or passive form business. It's really not really as passive as they say. They say you can operate your business from anywhere, but trust me, it's a very hands-on business. You need to constantly be there. You need at least to have someone constantly there. Like, you need to have a co-host. I really recommend having a co-host or someone that you can really trust to speak to people, because so many things can happen. For me, especially because I do travel a lot, so in the 3 hours that I'm traveling, for example, just taking a flight from here to Cape Town, so many things can happen to the Airbnb. So you really need to have a co-host, and that brings me to my next point, that you need to have a plumber, an electrician. You need to have someone standby. So many things are gonna happen. I've had so many times where the geyser has blasted, the electricity had a trip. Is it a trip? Yeah, or something. So you need, the Wi-Fi has a problem. So you really need to have a plumber one call away, because even if it's something that beyond your control, it's also none of their business as guests. So you need to have those speed dial, plumber, electrician, and just like a hands-on person to do so many fixings. I mean, because a bed can fall, you know, it's an Airbnb, people do stuff, you know. So if the bed fall in the middle of the night, I mean, probably they will raise it in the morning. So you need to be able to fix it or have someone to fix it immediately. So that's also something that you really need to look into before you get into this business. The thing I would add on is that as an Airbnb host, you constantly want to add things into your house that, you know, really enhances the experiences of your guests. And trust me, not everything's gonna work, especially that if you copy something somewhere else. I'll tell you this little story. So when I was in Cape Town, or most of the times when I go to Cape Town, I stay at Uxolo Apartments. Uxolo Apartments in Cape Town, in Long Street. Beautiful views, I love it. So one of the things, they have an open bar system. So you will find wine in the fridge, and then you can just replace it with any other bottle of wine or pay for the amount before you leave. So I tried it with my Airbnb, and I forgot this is not Cape Town. This is Pitori. This is Pretoria. And it just didn't work. People kept drinking the wine, wouldn't pay. Then now it's like a back and forth. And I had all the instructions in my bar stool area, where I would put the wine and then say, if you drink the wine, please replace it, or put 70 bucks or 50 bucks, I think it was, you know, just like, you know, but it didn't work. So be very picky on what you add onto your house, and just the things that you choose to enhance the experience with your clients, but make sure it's not at your cost, because it really eventually affected me and I just now stopped. So I hope I've covered in this video most of the challenges that I've faced. I hope I haven't really forgotten anything. I had them noted down, and looks like I covered everything. So those are some of the challenges that I faced, or things I was just like, I feel like if I work on those, my business is gonna do better than what it's currently doing. But generally, I'm very grateful. It's not a full business flop, I would say. We're doing quite good, and it's promising. I would say that's promising. My last feedback or thing to advise you, if you want to do Airbnb or you want to start an Airbnb business, is please stay in your Airbnb before clients. You need to see if the bed is comfortable. There's so many things. So I feel you should stay at least a week, or have a few of your friends stay in your Airbnb before you launch it, so that you get some feedback before you even begin. But then also always ask for your guests for feedback. It doesn't necessarily have to be them writing you a 1-star review. You can ask them before, and yeah. So feedback from clients, don't avoid it. I was avoiding feedback, especially when I know a client wasn't happy, but I couldn't pinpoint why they were not happy, but I could sense they're not happy, and I wouldn't ask for feedback because I was scared to hear the feedback. So I would say always ask for feedback. Feedback is so important, and it's what builds your business. Apart from that, what else can I say? You get the feedback, you start your business, you become a millionaire, you know, you start a masterclass, and I guess the rest is history. My name is Jivenji K. I'll also list down in the video, in the description box, some of the videos to watch if you want to start a business that guide you on how to get an Airbnb started as an Airbnb arbitrage. Okay. Arbitrage. Airbnb arbitrage. My name is Jivenji. Bye bye.